Hey guys, welcome to Conceptual Geometry, Lesson 3.8, Properties of a Square. Square is going to be the last parallelogram we talk about. So before we get to our notes, the white note packet, day 8, why don't you take out the, I believe it's blue note packet, and go to the square shape. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly because, as you'll see, I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with a square. If I measure on my screen the length of side DC in millimeters, I got 58 millimeters. And if I measure side BC, also 58 millimeters. I think you guys already realized this. I'm not even going to bother measuring the others because I know they'll be the same. One of the two big properties of a square, all four sides are equal, but they're also equal in a rhombus. So what differentiates a square from a rhombus? Well, that's if we go measure the angles. If I measure the angles, let's start here with angle D. Use my protractor. Yeah, that's exactly 90 degrees. Let's do that one more time. 90 degrees here. So again, I think you guys understand all four angles are going to be 90 degrees. So that's what makes it a square. Not all rhombuses have four right angles. So basically, you think of the square as a combination of both a rectangle and a rhombus. It has all the properties of both. I'm going to take a second here to draw in the diagonals. And in doing so, and then if I measure these angles here at the bottom, what I notice is this angle is 45 degrees. Oops, sorry about that. 45 degrees, as is this one. So those two are equal. So is this one. So is this one. And that's why a square is actually kind of boring. I'm not going to bother writing them all in, but those angles are also going to be congruent. In addition to that, the diagonals are all 90. So basically in a square, I've got a bunch of 90-degree angles, I've got a bunch of 45-degree angles, and nothing else. That is it. 45 degrees and 90 degrees. So maybe I will label these in. Those are all 45. So all four triangles formed, actually, there's 6 triangles. Actually, wait a minute, there's 8 triangles. Think about it. Here's 4 small ones. Those are all 45, 45, 90-degree right triangles. And then you can take these. Well, there's a 45, 45, 90-degree right triangle, as is this one here, as is this one here, as is this one here. So that's what I'm saying. It's kind of cool. All the triangles formed are 45, 45, 90-degree right triangles. And the other thing, I'm not going to measure the sides or the diagonals, sorry, but all 4 segments of the diagonals are congruent because the diagonals are congruent. So that's a lot of properties, but the more properties make the shape easier to work with because there's only so many different measures. Like I said, all the angles are either 45 or 90, and all 4 sides are going to be the same. So now let's go to our white note packet and dive into these properties. First property of a square, you're going to recognize the first 5, hopefully. Opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are equal. Opposite angles are equal. Adjacent angles add to 180 degrees or are supplementary. And the diagonals bisect each other. So it's super important for you guys to understand that these first 5 are the properties of a parallelogram. There's shorthand notation for parallelogram. So parallelogram, a rectangle, a rhombus, a square, all have these 5 properties. Now, what makes the other shapes more specific is we add properties. So for a square, all sides are equal, like they were for a rhombus. But in addition to that, contains 4 right angles, like a rectangle. So this comes from a rhombus. This comes from a rectangle. You put them both together, and that gives you a square. All right, well, we also have the other properties. The diagonals are perpendicular and equal in length. So they're perpendicular like they were for a rhombus. They're equal in length like they were for a rectangle. Put them together, and that's part of a square. And also, the diagonals bisect the angles. Okay, so let's mark it on the figures over here at the right. Top figure, let's keep it kind of basic. All four sides are equal, contains four right angles. That's a square. It's got to have both sets of those properties. This is pretty easy. The bottom one, there's only so many angle measures, right? All of these here in the middle are 90 degrees. Both of those combined are 90 degrees, and they bisect the angles. So basically it means all of these are 45. That's why squares are kind of boring. That's why we can do squares in one day, but the other shapes took us 2 days. And that's another reason you're not going to see too many square questions on your exam. And all four of those segments of the diagonal are equal. Okay. So what does a square always have that parallelograms, rectangles, or rhombuses do not necessarily have? Well, basically all these properties in red that we added, but what I want you to focus on, 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. So if you just have 4 equal sides, you're a rhombus. If you just have 4 right angles, you're a rectangle. When you have both, you're a square. Okay. Let's cruise through a couple examples here. Given square DEFG, find the measure of angle DHE, measure of angle DGF. If DF is 24, find GH, so on and so forth. So basically here, I know all these angles in the middle are going to be 90. All right, I'm not going to write out 90. I'll just put the right angle symbol. And I know all these small angles here are 45. I don't know which ones I need to use or which ones I need to find, but I know that already. Okay, so let's see what we have. Find the measure of angle DHE. DHE, well, that's easy, 90 degrees. Find the measure of angle DGF. DGF. Well, that's easy, 90 degrees. I'm going to skip this for now. I don't want to deal with sides. Let's go back to this angle. I'm in angle mode. So angle HGF. HGF. That's 45. Okay, so now I need to do a little bit more work. It says if DF is 24, so that's this. This whole side here is 24. Find GH. GH is this one. Well, it's not really that bad. If this is 24, all right, I'll put that in there now. There's nothing else to clutter up. What is this going to be? Well, what we need to realize, each one of these segments is congruent. So if that's 24, then each one of those is 12, which means this piece here has got to be 12. So GH is going to be 12, right? We just got that by taking 24, dividing it by 2. Okay, let's move on to the next page. All right, in square GHJK, if GH is 8x minus 13 and HJ is 7x plus 11, find the perimeter of square GHJK. So again, it's not drawn. Let's just make a quick sketch of a square. Should be the easiest shape to sketch. GHJK. All right, so GH is 8x minus 13. HJ, 7x plus 11. Find the perimeter. We had a question very similar to this on the rhombus. Dave notes it's going to be done exactly the same. You know all 4 sides are equal, so I'm going to take 8x minus 13 and set it equal to 7x plus 11. It's an 11. Subtract 7x. add 13. I get x equals 11 and 13 is 24. Now we got to be careful here because 24 is not the length of the side. 24 is x. I need to do a little calculator work here. To get one of these sides, let's take this one. HJ, that side, is going to be 7x, or 7 times 24, plus 11. So I'm going to put that right into the calculator, and that gives me 179. Again, that's not the perimeter. That's just the length of the side. So what do I know? All four sides are 179. To find the perimeter, I add all the sides, or since it's a square, I can multiply by 4. Either way, you get the same answer. I'm going to throw that into the calculator. 4 times 179 is 716. So that's the perimeter of that square. Okay, next one, I've got square WXYZ. So let's sketch that. Does not matter where you start it. I'll start down here, WXYZ. What is important to remember is that you go around in a circle. Okay, WY. Well, that's a diagonal. So WY is one diagonal. That's 2y plus 3. XZ is the other diagonal. And that's 5y minus 6. And then it says if WX is y plus 5. So WX is y plus 5. Find the length of ZY. All right, well, this is an easy example, but the way it's worded is really challenging. So I want to find ZY. And at first glance, like, well, there's nothing over here to represent ZY. But remember, all the sides are the same. So ZY is going to be the same as XW. Is going to be y plus 5. So what I need is I need an equation. Well, what's tricky here, that's not going to be in your equation. Your equation is going to be setting the diagonals equal. So here's your equation. 5y minus 6 equals 2y plus 3. I'm going to solve this for y. So let's subtract 2y from both sides, add 6. That gives me 3y equals 9 divided by 3. Y equals 3. So now what I need to do is I need to find ZY. That's going to be the same as XW, which is y plus 5, or 3 plus 5. That's actually going to be 8. So again, the concept here is just use these two for the equation. Once you get what y is, you plug that into this side, which has got to be the same as this side here. So that's how you get ZY. Okay, example 4, in square MNOP. I think this one's going to be easy. Square MNOP. MNOP. Angle MNO is this one. Well, that's 90 degrees. So that's going to be 4x plus 16. It's the only thing we're given. That's 90. So here's your equation. 4x plus 16 equals 90. Let's subtract 16 from both sides. 4x equals 74. Divide by 4. And x is going to be, throw that in the calculator, 18.5. It's one of the easier examples we're going to have, right? If I give you the angle of the square, you just set equal to 90, solve, and you're done. And this one's not too bad either. It says, if the perimeter of a square is 36, find the length of one side. So you know me, I'm a big fan of drawing a picture. Here's a square. What do I know? I know the perimeter is 36. Well, how do you get the perimeter? Well, you add up all the sides. If you don't know what the sides are, let's put x for each one. They're all the same. How do you find the perimeter? Add all the sides. So x plus x plus x plus x equals 36. 4x equals 36. Divide by 4. X equals 9. And some of you guys are saying, I could have done it a little quicker. Yeah, as long as you realize that a square has 4 equal sides, and if I give you the perimeter, you just divide by 4, and that gives you the length of one side, I'm fine with that. You just have to show some work, so maybe you just show something like this to tell me what the length of one side is. But anyway, that wraps up day 8 notes on properties of squares. Please go ahead and do Delta Math Homework 3.8 at this time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks for watching.